It's me, the guy you love to hate. I'm doing a presentation right now, and I recorded it because it sounds much better than that live video I did earlier. Bishop Taylor, Doctor of Religious Studies. Presentation. I want to refute Judaism as a construct and expose its historical roots. Many people out there will be like, wait a minute, he's refuting Judaism. Well, I'm not really refuting it. I care less about it. My opinion on it has nothing to do with it. I mean, let's just look at the facts. Facts, please. Introduction. Judaism as we know it today is a later construct that did not exist during the time of Jesus. Contrary to popular belief, Judaism did not evolve into its current form until 100 CE or 200 in that area. Following the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 AD CE, for all you people out there, the city of Jerusalem, which many associate with ancient Jewish worship, was heavily influenced and even governed by external empires such as the Persians and Parthians. This presentation will explore how Judaism developed over time, the influence of Persian and Parthian powers on Jerusalem and the temple, and the fabricated nature of many Old Testament narratives. First, I want to start with the influence in the Second Temple, the Persian. Historical and archaeological evidence suggests that the Second Temple, which was built after the Babylonian exile, was heavily supported by Persian rulers. Cyrus the Great, the Persian emperor, issued a decree permitting the Jewish exiles to return and rebuild the temple. Ezra 1:1-4. That's in the Bible. This temple was not merely a Jewish effort, but a broader Persian strategy of imperial control, ensuring loyalty from various subject peoples to facilitate their religious practices. Hopefully that's okay. King Herod's connection. Everyone's heard about the King Herod, the Archid. He's an ark. Yeah, piece of shit. But King Herod the Great, who has extensively renovated the Second Temple, initially gained favor with the Parthians, a rival power to Rome. Although he later aligned himself with Rome, the early association with Parthians indicate that Jerusalem was not purely a Jewish or Roman space, but part of a contested political landscape, biblical archaeological society. Yep. This complicates the narrative of Herod as solely Roman-backed puppet king. His reign reflects the political complexities of the region, undermining the idea of purely Jewish state centered around the temple. Number 3, the late emergence of Rabbinic Judaism. Judaism, in its modern rabbinic form, emerged after the fall of the Second Temple. Early Jewish sects, such as the Pharisees, Sadducees, and Essenes, reflected diverse and often conflicting religious ideas. The consolidation of Rabbinic Judaism came much later, around the 2nd and 3rd centuries AD, CE, driven by the need to maintain Jewish identity in the absence of the temple, the Torah, often portrayed as an ancient text, underwent redaction and compilation over centuries. It presents stories that lack independent archaeological corroboration, indicating that much of it is mythological or ideological. Finkelstein and Silberman, The Bible Unearthed, a fabulous book. That's just reference. Exposing Old Testament myths. Many Old Testament narratives, such as the conquest described in the books of Joshua, Judges, are not supported by archaeological evidence. Scholars like Israel Finkelstein argue that these stories were retroactively constructed to serve political purposes during the monarchy or after the Babylonian exile. The concept of Judaism, therefore, is built on layers of myth-making. The historical reality is the people of the region practice diverse local religions rather than a unified faith centered around YH, a WH. Let's go with number 5, the fabrication of Judaism and the role of Christians. The destruction of the Library of Alexandria, as I like to touch on all the time, it was done by early Christians, often cited as an example of efforts to erase knowledge and control historical narratives. While the exact circumstances always remain debated, it reflects the broader trend of Christian and Jewish authorities reshaping history to suit their theological and ideological needs. The book of Romans, traditionally attributed to Paul, also reflects layers and layers of redaction, incorporating Jewish elements into early Christianity that may not be original to Jesus' teachings. Eisman, James, the brother of Jesus, excellent reference. I suggest everyone out there pick that up and read it. But let's go again. The traditional understanding of Judaism as an ancient and coherent religion at the time of Jesus is a later construct. The influence of Persian and Parthian powers, the delayed emergence of rabbinic Judaism, and the fabricated nature of many Old Testament stories all point to a complex and shifting religious landscape in the ancient world. Recognizing that these facts allow us to move beyond simplistic narratives and appreciate the historical realities of religious traditions. Let's go here. The absence of evidence for Hebrews outside of the Bible. The historical existence of Hebrews as a distinct people prior to the compilation of biblical texts is a subject of significant scholarly debate. I don't know why they debate it. Stupid. Despite the Bible's narrative about the ancient Hebrews, no archaeological, epigraphic, or historical evidence provides a verifiable proof of their existence. This presentation I'm giving you will examine the evidence or lack thereof for the Hebrews in non-biblical sources, analyzing competing theories about the origins, and consider how biblical texts were likely created for ideological purposes rather than historical record-keeping. What does the Bible claim? ? The Hebrew Bible, Old Testament, tells a narrative of a chosen people, beginning with Abraham and continuing through Moses, who didn't exist as Sargon the Great, but the conquest of Canaan, the establishment of the kingdom of Israel. These accounts are taken into historical by religious traditions, but lack independent corroboration from other ancient sources. Key biblical events such as the Exodus, conquest of Jericho, and the establishment of a united monarchy under David and Solomon are central to this bogus narrative. The lack of archaeology, another one. Archaeologists have researched extensively for artifacts, inscriptions, or material evidence of the Hebrews outside of the Bible. So far, no unequivocal evidence supports the existence of a distinct Hebrew population. No records of the Hebrew Exodus, Egyptian records known for their detailed annals make no mention of this Exodus. Scholars such as Israel Finkelstein have pointed out that there is no archaeological evidence for a mass migration out of Egypt as described in the book of Exodus. Jericho and the conquest of Canaan. Excavations in Jericho reveal that the city was inhabited during the supposed time of Joshua's conquest. Kathleen Kenyon, 1950s. This undermines the biblical narrative of the Hebrew-led conquest. Absence of Assyrian and Babylonian records. Powerful empires such as Assyria and Babylon, with documented their dealings with smaller kingdoms, do not refer to a distinct Hebrew people or nation prior to the appearance of Israel and Judah. Contradictions in ancient inscription and the Merneptah stele. Okay, in 1208 BCE contains a brief reference to Israel among defeated peoples, but it doesn't clarify who these people were, nor does it describe them as a distinct ethnic group or nation. Scholars have debated whether Israel here refers to a people, a region, or something else entirely. Even if it does refer to the early Israelites, it does not confirm the existence of Hebrews as portrayed in the Bible. Theories on the origins of ancient Israel by Bishop Taylor. Many scholars, including Israel Finkelstein and Silberman, argue that the early Israelites were likely indigenous Canaanites. The Bible story of a distinct Hebrew identity may have been retroactively constructed to unify various tribal groups under a single religious and national identity. Canaanite origins. Archaeological evidence suggests that the early Israelites shared the same material culture as the Canaanite neighbors. The pottery, the architecture, the tools found in ancient Israelite settlements are indistinguishable from those of the Canaanites and in those Canaanite regions. The Old Testament as ideological literature. The Bible may have been compromised not as a historical record, but as a collection of myths, genealogies, and political propaganda to establish a national identity. Persian influence on the Torah. Scholars suggest that the Hebrew Bible was redacted during the Persian period, the 5th century BC, as a part of a project to unify the returning exiles and create a distinct religious identity under Persian imperial rule. Excuse me. Lester L. Grabbe, Ancient Israel. What do we know and how do we know it? It's one of my references. Sources. Lack of historical David and Solomon, sun and moon. The archaeological absence of evidence for David and Solomon's empires points to these figures being mythological, rather than historical kings. The fabrication of a distinct Hebrew identity, which is still going on to this very day. The term Hebrew itself is problematic outside of the Bible. There are no contemporaneous sources that identify a group by this name. The word may be a biblical invention to distinguish the author's identity from neighboring cultures or to construct an origin for political or religious reasons. Let's go again. The narrative of the Hebrews. Wow. As a distinct ancient people lacks archaeological and historical support. The absence of evidence outside the Bible suggests that the concept of the Hebrew people may have been retroactively constructed. The archaeological record points instead to the indigenous origins of the early Israelites, while the Bible reflects ideological goals rather than historical reality. Wow, that's a lot. I hope you're soaking it in. Hope you people out there can absorb this. I mean, it's not very long. Maybe we could get together on it, and party like 1999. Or we could, people don't like my presentations because I say what I want to say. I don't really care what you like. I'm giving you facts. Even today with this religion, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hindu, nonsense, we still see, like in the United States of America, it's broken down to 50 states, or the lower 48. And we have a state called Indiana. Indiana. It's really Indiana. There's a lot of references there. What are there? God's territorial spirits for each state. Then there's a territorial spirit for the country. And then so it's God bless America. What God? The territorial spirit of America? People are so superstitious, they don't understand. Like right now, there's a war going on that Israel started. They started in 1948, but people will say, we're Americans and we're on the side of Israel because God gave Israel the land. Let me explain something to you. There's no such thing as no God gave Israel the land, okay? It's just bullshit. But the thing is, you'll believe it because it's, because it's in the Bible. The Bible is not a historical record nor a document that we usually take seriously about any of this, but you do. But what about Iran, Persia? Well, you have Benjamin Netanyahu constantly talking about evil, the evil empire, Persia. Maybe Persia holds the secrets. The Iranians hold the secrets that Israel was given to them by the Persians, they built the temple. They know they did. History doesn't lie. The Bible does, and the people who wrote the Bible. We have to go with facts, not feelings. Facts. We can't go by superstition, ego, or any of that. We go by facts as scholars, but many scholars will not go by these facts because it destroys the narrative of these fake Hebrew people. According to a lot of these folks that I talk to, I would love to name them and I might. And the thing is, but they will not go against this narrative. So until they do, until we're allowed, and the territorial spirits that are around us, or whatever the hell is going on, we are forced to put up with bullshit. Yes, we are. Nonsense. Yahweh, or whatever, Jehovah, whatever name you want to call him, is a territorial spirit. Okay? That's it in mythology. Okay? It's pretty funny how people think that that Jesus had anything to do with that. Jesus said the world, by the way. He didn't say Israel, but they did redact it, or they changed it where he says, I'm here for the fallen sheep of Israel. Listen, they made all that shit up. I mean, majority of it's nonsense, okay? So, it doesn't matter. Jewish people aren't chosen by any God. Muslims aren't chosen by any God. Christians aren't chosen. It's just some nonsense. It's all, we're in 2024. Can we please act like it? That we at least have some frame of reference? Like, hey, this is all nonsense. Well, the atheists, they pick it out too. And good for them. Good on them. They pick it out. Majority of the Christians, they don't. They're not interested in anything but where am I going to go when I'm dying? When I'm died? Okay? You don't know. I don't know. I want to go to heaven because I want to be a good slave. I want to sit around and watch God all day long and we praise him. You know how silly that sounds? I mean, in reality, in all reality, you want to sit around all day long while people praise God, like being in a damn church. They're not even praising God in there. But it's all ridiculous. Do you really want to be in there? Well, my heaven would be just constant carnality, I mean, if you think about it, with because that's the Muslims want. They want 40 virgins. So they could. What do you think they're going to do with those virgins? Look at them? No. So, what is heaven? Is it being near God? No, it's being near your Father in heaven. I guess I'm just going off here on this tangent, which I don't care. I don't care. Watch the video. Don't watch the video. I don't give a shit. But I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, people out there, you can say, well, this guy's an asshole. Good. If you think that, and I stimulate your thoughts, the way you actually use your mind and not sit there and just suffer fools that will tell you, there's all these different cults, all these different, yes, there's tons of them. Tons of them. So many tribal spirits, territorial spirits, or gods, right? Daemons, which they take the word demon and they switched whatever. Take daemon, which means God, a lesser God or God, and they put it to demons, which is really, and come out, demon of stupidity. No, I'm just kidding. And just wake up. I'm not trying to destroy your religion. I'm trying to put facts in your religion. Of course, Muhammad never existed, I don't believe. He was just someone that politically they could use, just like Kamala Harris. Prop some idiot up there, low IQ person. This guy's much if God, if she had brains, she'd be dangerous. Okay, look, they lie, and even to this day, you fall for their lies. They got the mainstream media. They've got it all. But don't you understand? It's just a continuation from the past. We went to a war with Iraq, invaded Iraq for weapons of mass destruction. People lied, and then millions died. This is what goes on in this world. The political elites, the same as back then, come up with bullshit, like the Flavian dynasty comes up with nonsense, like Joseph Atwill says. Then you have I can't think of his name right now. I can picture him, another scholarly guy. Is John Dominic Crossan. Everything's an allegory. Everything in the Bible is allegory. Okay, he just looking for the good in it. Okay, we're all looking for the good, but we don't find it. What do we find? We find lies, mythology, made up bull crap. and then we have to go through that and sift through it. It's like getting a dog turd out of the sand, and and then I hang on. Next time I make a video, I'll turn that stupid ass Alexa shit off. But I'm not a professional at making videos. Man, I'm making the best I can. I don't have an editor or whatever. I edit the videos for Dr. Price and me. Now, Dr. Price, look at what they did to him. I mean, many of you people have no idea. They came in there and, Derek and his ilk with the weirdos, they're like, oh, he's a racist. We're all racist, man. We're all racist. My name is Ray. We're all prejudiced one way or another against someone. Okay? Maybe some people hold but you're allowed to be. You're an American. But I'm not saying Dr. Price is a racist. He doesn't. He doesn't. He's not. But they say me, oh, you're anti-Semite. No, I'm not, because I'm pro-Semite. I'm pro-Palestinian, and they're the ones with the that have genetic ties to the property. So when you colonize and you move in, they're saying, I thought you were Republican. Now you're talking about. No, look. When you come into a land that doesn't belong to you, and you're coming there to establish a settlement for a stupid-ass piece of shit, low-life dirtbag king, or a country, or some stupid political government, then you're a fucking colonizer. Okay? Do you understand? And as far as the propaganda that people support Hamas, that are protesting on campuses that have done that, you got to be kidding me. That's just right-wing propaganda. And then you have this foreign leader coming to America, Benjamin Netanyahu. That's not even his real name. It's not. Look it up. Do research yourself. He's a Polish. So is his dad. They're all Polish. They're not from there. They just make it so they can sound more Semitic. They change their names, But we have to recognize bullshit, and that's what I want you to do. Not that I have anything against any of those people. But the thing is we have to recognize fake. We have to call it out. People didn't like me. I had to go to Iceland, and people over there are a little different. Go to Icelandic University, and University of Iceland, and I speak Icelandic. So sometimes when you hear me talk, it's like I want to say an Icelandic word, and because that was my first language, and English is my second. So it's very hard for me to come on to YouTube. Okay, I never thought I'd do it, talking about religious topics or any of this. I'd preferably rather talk about going fishing, which is my favorite hobby. Actually, the second favorite to sex, you know what I mean? And, go out there and help people. When I became a Christian minister, I thought everything was everything. And I was around a bunch of Zionists, and I hated it. Because why are these Jews walking around? Because it's fake. I saw it. And then all these Russians, they got the long little things hanging up there on their, and here's the craziest, another crazy thing that you might find interesting, people, if you're still listening to me. The wall, the temple that they claim is the temple wall in Jerusalem, or the Wailing Wall or whatever. And they hump the wall, by the way, just to let you know that. It's actually a sexual thing. It's not bowing and all. Take a look it up. It's called the humpers. I call them the Bible humpers and then the Bible thumpers. It's the wall of Jupiter. It is. It's when the temple was supposedly destroyed, which it was, but they destroyed it, and then they built the temple of Jupiter. And that wall is the temple of Jupiter. And you can look this up in archaeological. I can give you references if you'd like. Just ask me in the comments, and I will show you. Let me show you. That's the wall of Jupiter, which is pretty funny. They call themselves Jews, the wall of Jupiter. And a lot of things that you don't know. I mean, it's still the same thing. Territorial spirits. You've got Yahweh over here in Israel, right? Wanting to attack whatever in Babylon or in Persia, because their God is better than their God. And everyone in America that's Christian Zionists are on the side of the Jew God, the Jewish God, Yahweh, but that's not who they worship. They have many different names. It's still tribal God. Whenever we can break this tribalism, we can end the wars. We can end this. Okay? That's the true prejudice and true racist is this shit. That is the most evil thing in the world is this tribalist God nonsense. And until you understand this, we're not going to have peace in the world. We can elect Donald Trump, and hopefully he does something, and hopefully he uses common sense. But still, we still have the military-industrial complex or the Yahweh over there, right? Wanted to fight everybody and wanted to defeat all the other archons or whatever the hell they're called, tribal, territorial spirits. Please wake up. Please wake up. That's all I ask. If you're listening to this right now, please wake up. Not be woke, but wake up. Look around. Think about it. Spread the knowledge. The knowledge is very important. With this knowledge, man, you can overcome them. You can say, well, I'm not gonna deal with that bullshit. Because it's nonsense. These tribal deities aren't real. They're in your mind. They're archetypes, like Carl Jung. They're just nonsense. I believe, well, to the best of my knowledge, we have our Father in heaven, and he's not a tribal deity. He's not. Jesus didn't represent one tribal deity. He never even mentioned the name Yahweh or the name or Hashem or whatever bullshit they come up with, right? And then the Jews are so pious that they won't say God, which is total. It's whatever. They're just pious, and then they say Hashem. Listen, I grew up in a Jewish background. I went to Rudolph Shalom Temple, okay? Listen to these Pharisees, these rabbinic Judaistic nonsense, which I thought was just utter nonsense. I'm not Jewish. I did my genes done, although they say that I am. Me, personally, I had mine done. And I did it. It cost me $2,000, man. And it doesn't have any Semite blood at all. But they still say, but your mother and your grandfather. No, your whatever. We're not. We're Basque. They were converts, obviously, right? And then I started looking into DNA of all these other people. They're all converts, man. They're converts to a religion that was created and made, just like their language, Canaan Phoenicia. It's not Hebrew, because Hebrew doesn't exist. It's a made-up term. It's false. It's not, what's his face, Dr. Ammon, right? I'm going to call you by what name you want to be called, David. But Ammon, he has a channel. Babylon, Lady Babylon, right? He does say some positive things there. He acts kind of nutty and shit, and I like the guy, but he still puts positive. He still explains to you that Hebrew is a made-up bullshit language. He says it all the time. He knows it was Greek. So do I. I concur with you, Doc. And the thing is why can't the world know this? Well, because that's anti-Semitic. Because you must keep the lie going. You must keep it covered. Keep it down here and don't talk about it. Well, Bishop Taylor on this channel will talk about it. We'll discuss it. We'll have live videos on with people that they don't like. We will discuss anything and everything, and if we can't discuss it here, we'll discuss it on our website. We'll discuss it on Rumble, BitChute, or whatever channel, okay? Because this monetization program that they have, they just steal it from you, man. They said that we had reused content, and they demonetized us, making a couple $100 a month, or not even that, whatever, you know what I mean? So they just steal it when they get mad at you. They're like, we'll just make up some shit. That's what they do. So you're in this YouTube partner program, but you're not equal partners. They own everything, and you own nothing. They put ads still on your videos, even when they demonetize you. So they're still getting the ad revenue, but they can make up some bogus bullshit. That's got to change, man, for everyone. Maybe Elon Musk will buy YouTube and call it Freedom Tube, like he said, or whatever, Free Speech Tube. And we can actually put things back up here that people want to see that actually make ad revenue that's worth a shit. They ban guns, they ban this, they ban that. They demonetize this person, they demonetize that person because it's wrong think. Okay? Listen, do not be anti-Jewish. I'm not using the word Semite because they're not Semites. Do not be anti-Muslim. Do not be anti-Christian. Atheists always, man, they're so scared to make fun of Judaism or Islam because they did until one of them got whacked. But they can't. They can't. The Semitic laws, unconstitutional bullshit. You should be able to make fun of everything and anything you want to under free speech in the United States of America, whether it's a drag queen, whether it's anything, you should be able to make fun of them. That reminds me, I was walking in Norfolk, Virginia in 1984, right? And I saw these men dressed up as women running down the street. And it was a bar. It was called the Q, if I remember right. And all these people were outside, and I'm like, "Oh, what's happening?" And they said, "This is drag race." Cars drag race. Pretty funny because there were guys running in high heel shoes. I thoroughly enjoyed watching that. And sitting there drinking a beer with these gay guys. I mean, these gay people. They didn't really bother me. I mean, although one offered to do something, I had to decline that nicely. But the thing is I get along with everyone. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you're like. I just would like to know why you think what you think. This guy said, "Well, you hate trans testicles, I don't care about you. Your trans nonsense. I don't care what your favorite color is. I don't care how many times you masturbate. I don't care. I'm one man, and I'm going to say what I want to say. And yeah, I went through all the school and to be a doctor, to be a PhD. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't even know why they even use that term. I just rather say PhD at the end, but they like using that term, make some big time, because they have some philosophical nonsense. But I'm also a minister, a Christian. Well, I'm a Christian, but not a Christian like they are. And I am also a bishop, ordained, yeah. But the thing is, what do I do? What name do I like? You can just call me Ray. That would be cool. Like that. That's it, or asshole. Whatever comes to your mind. But we must be free. Listen, we have to remain free. We have to keep all of our rights. We have to remain free in this world. This is a hell of a long rant. And I wish someone was on here with me, but too many cowards. That's all. That's all, man. I've seen a lot of bullshit, and I wish everyone out there, sincerely, you hear people say it, but when I say it, I really mean it. I want everyone out there, to please, like that, learn more, like that. And I wish you the best I can. I hope if you don't feel good right now, be healed, like that, whatever's wrong. Like that, your mental problems, you need money, whatever. I mean, don't ask me for cash because if I had some, I'd give it to you. But look, but if you need some help, and you're not from Africa or some weird ass shit like that, you leave me alone. Y'all just want handouts, man. Get a job. That's all I can tell you. All right, much love, much respect to everyone out there, and I still do. Even if you're in Africa, I pray for you. But thank you so much.